Hello world, Stephen Michael Zach here, and today I have the Sokani X25. This is an RGB CW tube light, and let's jump in and check it out. First off, this comes in super affordable at $109. And what you get is pretty fantastic. So let's look inside the box. You get the light itself, tripod, an extremely well-padded, well-designed case, a power brick and power cord for continuous running of the light and for charging, and a strap so you can clip the power pack onto a light stand. Now the light itself measures about 22.5 inches, so that's just under 2 feet, and the whole thing is about 24 1/4. So again, this thing is under 2 feet. Now taking a look at the navigation here, you get your CCT quick button, you get your HSI, and your RGB CW, which means you can control the red, blue, and the green, which is fantastic. You do get your channel button here, and you can go right into your special effects. Now, I highly suggest you use the quick buttons rather than the 2-button press system that I am about to show you. Now, your dim button will adjust your brightness. Your set button will adjust the color temperature. Press the set button in, and that jumps you to your minus green or a minus green magenta. Now, let's navigate the menu by pressing the dim button again, and that is going to pop you into your HSI mode. And of course, you can control the brightness with the dim knob. Using the set knob, you are going to be able to control the hue here. And pressing in the set knob, then you can control your saturation as well. Pressing the dim button again will put you into the RGB CW mode, and you can navigate each individual one by moving the set button here. And let's say you want to add some red, then you take the dim button and dim it up and dim it down. So this gets a little bit tricky. Once you have it, it's not as tricky, but it does get fairly tricky. Pressing the dim button again, you're going to go into your special effects, and your set button is going to adjust your rates. You get up to 10 rates on each special effect, so 10 different ways to change this around. And pressing in the dim button, again, you go back to your CCT here. When you're in your special effects, pressing the set button is going to move you from one effect to the other. And then let's go back to the CCT mode. So that is the easiest way to control it. Now you will notice the screen is very difficult to read. We will talk about that. Okay, now going into the app, you can see that I have already paired it. If you want to pair it, you will tap this button in the corner, and that will pair it, and it does it without any problem. But since we're already paired, we don't need to do that. You can also add devices up here as well. Now we're in the app, and you can control the intensity. And I have to say the light quality is fantastic. Look how bright this is. It is pretty significant. It does light up the whole room. You could, of course, can control your color temperature right here, and you do have arrows to make adjustments, which is fantastic. You have the plus and minus here. And you can control the green magenta shift, which is great as well. Next button over is the HSI, and you can tap the hue button here, and we can put in an amount here and confirm, and right away it goes directly to that, no problem whatsoever. And of course, I just want to show you how bright this is. This is incredibly bright. It is fantastic. I mean, it's incredible how much it's lighting up the room here. And of course, you can use the color wheel as well, and this tells you the last color you're on. One thing that's a little weird is that this does not change when I change the hue here. I can go to 240 and hit confirm, and this does not change. It is really just reading what the wheel is on. It's a little weird that these two things don't change. And of course, I can control my saturation as well. I can go to 50% saturation here, hit confirm, or I can go up to 100% saturation, and there we go. The RGB CW, you can control your reds, you can control your greens, your blues, your whites, and of course you can control your tungsten as well. Moving into the effects, you get lightning, and you do get multiple frequencies. Here you get about 10 frequencies per effect. Get your police, your fire truck, your ambulance. You get fire, which works fairly well. Fireworks, faulty bulb, TV, RGB circle, and paparazzi. So my final thoughts on the Sokani X25 is this is an amazing steal for $109. Especially when you could look at the Godox, the Nanlite, the Quasars, and how expensive those are. This is a steal. It is packed with just fantastic stuff. It does kind of mimic an Asteria tube, like a little baby Asteria tube, which I think is kind of cool. And I'm very surprised that Sokani does not have an official web page. They have something that's super old and has outdated lights on it, but they seem to just operate off their Amazon page and their Facebook page. So I am very surprised. But this thing is fantastic. Now let's talk about the cons, what I love about this. The build quality is excellent. You do get mounting points at both ends. You do get a hard on off button. You can continuously power this thing via the DC input here as well as charge it. And it does not have a fan. It is super quiet. Now let's talk about the buttons here. The buttons are decent. They're not the best buttons I've seen, and the 2-click system is a little confusing, but they feel nice and they don't feel mushy at all. And of course, on back, they're gonna tell you everything that this thing does, which is fantastic, all the features. Now let's talk about quality of light. This thing is fantastic, not only in the bicolor mode, but the RGB, the HSI mode is super bright. I was very surprised that the HSI lit up the entire back room here. Very, very nice. And the fact that this is an RGB CW, which means you can control your reds, your blues, your greens, your colors, your whites. This has a green magenta shift, which is fantastic. And this thing is super bright. I am super, super impressed with this. Very, very cool. Really liking this. These special effects are decent. Some are better than others. And especially when you pair this with the phone app. And yes, you can control several of these in groups via the phone. The phone app is great. It just connects quickly. It works very well. It's very snappy. It's a very, very simply laid out phone app, and it's just incredible. And I highly recommend just controlling this with your phone rather than dealing with the back buttons. Even though you do have the quick buttons here, it can get a little confusing. Now let's talk about what I don't like, and that is this tripod. It's not the best tripod in the world. It is super wobbly and shaky. I would probably swap that out. And the navigation system, the 2-button navigation system here is a little bit tricky. Once you get it, then you've got it. But at first it is a little tricky, and I kept switching modes, and I'd have to go back. You do get the quick buttons. I highly suggest if you're not going to use the phone app, use the quick buttons. Now, one of the downsides here is that the case only holds the light. It does not hold everything else that it comes with, so I will be changing out this case for a hard case that will hold multiple lights and everything else. So another thing missing with the Sokani X25 is not only a good clamp like the Nanlite has, but also a grid. Now, I would really love if Sokani would come out with a grid for this light. That would make it a far better tool than it already is. Now, I will be looking for a third-party grid. Hopefully I will be able to find something that will fit this. It is a little bit thicker than most tubes, but a grid would be fantastic if Sokani is watching this video. And finally, the worst part of this is the screen. It is terrible. I really wish they didn't cheap out on the screen. Unless you're looking at it like this from direct on, it is just almost impossible to read. And also, let's go down to the plus minus green. And as you can see, the numbers kind of, if you can see it, the numbers kind of overlap and get lost, and it's hard to hit your settings. So all in all, I am not a fan of the screen, but everything else inside this light is fantastic. Now, who is this for? Everyone. If you're on a budget or you're a professional filmmaker, this is going to be fantastic. I plan on buying a second one. I am just very, very impressed with what they have done here for the price that they've done it. And plus it comes with a fantastic case and a power brick, and you can kind of, attach your power brick to the light stand with this little strap. Very, very cool. Really, really love this thing. I am very surprised. So those are my thoughts, but I want to know yours. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to mash the bell button to be notified when we drop a brand new video. And feel free to use the links below as it helps out the channel. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is new to me.